Hi, and welcome to Kitchen Uncovered. I'm Chef Andrew Nicholson at the Culinary Institute of Canada. Today I'm here with guest chef Erin Henry. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning. And so tell us a little bit about yourself.
I graduated from the Culinary Institute in 2006, and after that I went on to do the applied degree.
Okay.
And during my time here, I was also part of the Culinary Olympic team, where we traveled to Scotland and Germany
Awesome.
to compete.
And what year was that?
That was in 2006 and 2008.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. That was a good experience?
It was a wonderful experience. We won a gold medal in Scotland, and we won gold and silver in Germany.
Wow, very well done. And how did the applied degree help you out now in, with your culinary and what you do with Sobeys?
It definitely helped me out with the management side of the cooking world. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So what are we going to do today?
Today we're going to grill up some steaks with some sort of Southwest flavors.
Okay.
And so we're going to marinate those in a marinade of some lime juice, cilantro, and then we're going to make a quick grilled corn salad.
So where do we get started today?
We're going to start making our marinade today.
Okay.
So first up, we're going to chop our cilantro.
So this is a Southwestern.
Yeah, sort of a Tex-Mex flavor. We're going to put some cilantro, some lime, some red wine vinegar, sugar, salt, and some canola oil.
Okay. And what's the marinade going to do for our steaks today?
Basically, we're just trying to add some flavor. We're going to use strip loins today, which is a really tender cut of meat, so it doesn't need tenderizing from the marinade.
Right.
We just want to add some flavor.
Okay. So we're just going to marinate for flavor today. You could use different acids and stuff like that for vinegars and such.
Yep. Today we're going to use red wine vinegar and lime juice, but pretty much anything with an acid
Okay.
would make a great marinade.
And that kind of cuts through the fibers of the steak and softens up the meat a little bit, but also adds a lot of extra flavor.
That's right.
Okay. So we have some cilantro and fresh lime.
Fresh lime, we're going to juice a lime in there.
Okay. And the different steaks, some steaks the strip loin we don't have to do for tenderness, but if you were doing a tougher steak, such as something, you might do it for tenderizing as well.
Definitely. Something like a ribeye or a strip loin definitely wouldn't need to be tenderizing. It's great putting it right on the grill as it is, but something like maybe some sirloin would definitely benefit from some marinade.
Yeah. So is there a specific amount of time you would marinate for tougher cuts than just for flavoring?
This one we're going to do for at least an hour, but for tougher cuts of meat, you can marinate, up to a day before you grill.
Yeah. Yeah. So overnight wouldn't hurt the steak at all for tenderizing.
Yeah. So we got our red wine vinegar in there.
Okay.
A little bit of sugar.
Okay. We measure everything accurately. That's very good. Just a little bit of this.
We're going to put a pinch of salt in there.
A little bit of salt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe a couple more healthy pinches.
Right on. We got to flavor it up, right?
I'm going to add some canola oil.
Okay. Could you use any other kind of oil for this, or?
I'm going to use canola oil because you can heat it up quite high without it smoking.
Okay.
You can use olive oil for flavor, but if you're going to cook it at a high temperature, it was going to start smoking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
And I'm also going to use some pepper.
Fresh cracked pepper. You could use it. Would you bother with a bay leaf or anything like this? And would dried or fresh herbs matter in the marinade?
We're going to use fresh herbs because they've got a nice bright flavor, but you can definitely use dry as well. Cilantro is something that I don't think I've ever seen dried.
No.
So I think it's definitely worth the investment to buy fresh.
Very good.
Super. So our marinade's all ready to go. I'm just going to give that a stir.
Okay, I'll give you a whisk. So, what's the ratio of oil to vinegar in the marinade, just so that viewers at home know what's going on?
I'm going to use about 3 parts oil to 1 part vinegar.
Okay. And if you wanted to increase the acidity a little bit, you could just go 2 to 1 or increase the ratio. So
yep.
It's all about the ratios. And the sugar just kind of counterbalances the acidity of the vinegar a little bit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So the marinade's ready to go.
Okay. Quick and easy.
Quick and easy. And now we're going to get our steaks cut here.
Okay. So we'll just take a cutting board out. So we're using strip loin. And we get our pan nice and hot there. Just turn that down a little bit. So we have our strip loin, and that's a very tender cut of meat.
Very tender cut of meat. Yep.
And when we buy steaks, we should be looking for a little bit of marbling.
Yeah, when you see the steaks, strip loin, something that you want to see a little bit of fat on the top, a nice white fat cap on the top. And then when you cut into it, you want to see lots of nice white marbling all through it.
And that's where the flavor comes from.
You got it.
So what about the fat cap on the top of the...
We're going to leave the fat cap on.
Okay.
I'm going to leave it on because as it cooks, it's going to help sort of baste the meat a little bit and keep it nice and tender.
Yeah.
And if you're not into eating the fat, you can always cut it on.
Okay.
Cut it off.
But it's going to add a little bit extra flavor. And
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to cut some nice beefy steaks about an inch thick.
Okay. So what grade of steak would this be? This would be a double A?
This looks like a double A.
And we're looking at the marbling.
We're looking at the marbling, yep. Right? So all these little lines in here is what you're looking for, and really the more you see, the better.
The more tender, the more flavor. Very good.
Here we go.
So those are nice big steaks. You get those at Sobeys?
You can get these at Sobeys. We can cut you any steak you like, whatever size you like.
So how much marinade would you need for a couple of steaks? Do you need enough to coat it or just enough to kind of set it in to let the flavors kind of work their way through?
I think you need enough to coat it and then some.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're just going to put our steaks in our marinade here.
Okay. And you'd leave that for an hour or so?
You can leave it for an hour or you can leave it up to 24 if you like.
Okay.
And there we go.
Beauty.
So you can just cover that and put that in the fridge and let it chill out for an hour.
Okay.
But you should definitely take it out of the fridge before you're gonna put it on your grill.
So it should give it a chance to rest and come back up to room temperature?
Exactly. Should be pretty close to room temperature before you cook it.
Okay.
Yep.
And that just allows the steak to relax a little bit, not be so tense.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. All right. So we got that on, and we're going to let that marinate.
Yep.
And then where do we go from here?
The next thing on our agenda is grilling the corn for our corn salad.
Okay.
So this is just corn that we took the husk off of.
Okay.
You can cook it in the husk, but we want to get some nice charred flavor on there right from the grill. So we're just going to put it with the husk off right on the grill.
Okay. So we're gonna give the grill a minute to warm up, and when we come right back, we're gonna grill off some steaks. We're gonna put our steaks in the fridge. We're gonna grill off some corn, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Kitchen Uncovered. I'm Chef Andrew Nicholson at the Culinary Institute of Canada. Today I'm here with Aaron Henry from Sobeys, and today we're grilling steaks and corn salad. So we've got the steaks in a marinade, right? And they're going to sit in there for at least an hour.
At least an hour.
Maybe overnight if you have time, but the more flavor. And we're marinating for flavor more than tenderizing because we have the strip loins going on. Mm-hmm. And when we went to break, we were just about to start grilling corn. So what's the secret on the corn?
That's right. We're taking it out of the husk so that we can get some nice brown golden color on there.
Awesome.
So we're just going to put the corn right on our grill. Now you can definitely do this on the barbecue, but since we can't barbecue inside, we're going to use a cast iron pan.
Okay.
And we got that really hot. You can see the
and the smoke's rising, so that's good because we want a nice charred on the kernels.
Exactly. So we're just going to put it right on the grill.
Okay. No oil or anything, just kind of dried on?
I'm going to put a little bit of oil on there.
Okay.
Yep.
You could flavor the corn too if you wanted to, or would you do that after the fact?
Definitely. If you're going to have the corn as it is, then you could put some flavored butters on there, maybe some lime juice or some spices.
Okay.
But since we're going to add it to a salad that's going to have a lot of other flavors in it, I'm just going to do some oil and salt and pepper.
Okay. So keep it simple.
Yeah.
So how long will this corn take?
This will take about 7 to 10 minutes, I'd say, on the grill.
Okay.
And you can leave it for about 2 or 3 minutes on one side and then just turn it around.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll get the tongs ready, and we'll just I'll keep an eye on that. We're going to make some extra salad to go with it.
Yep. Now in our salad today, we're going to have some cherry or grape tomatoes that we're going to have. We've got some julienne carrots, some sliced green onions, honey, some hot sauce, and some lime.
Okay.
So the first thing we're going to start is the tomatoes. We're just
So,
gonna cut those in half.
We're just using grape tomatoes or cherry tomatoes, but we could use plum tomatoes or whole tomatoes if we wanted to.
Definitely. I find grape tomatoes always have a really nice, beautiful red color. So that's what we're looking for here.
Okay. So just slice those in half.
Yep,
Throw them in the bowl. So there's no really any dressing to this. We're just gonna mix everything together. Very simple.
exactly. You can just mix everything together in one bowl.
Okay. Is this type of salad that you could change the variations of the colors and the flavors as well, or?
For sure, depending on what's in season, you could put some peppers in there, mix some cucumber in, some green beans would be delicious.
And
There we go. So we've got about a cup of tomatoes. We're gonna add some carrots.
okay, so those are julienne cut carrots.
Julienne cut carrots, cut about 2 inches long and about a couple millimeters thick. We've got some green onions, sliced nice and thin so they're not too crunchy and oniony.
Right, so nice colors going on with the bright red, the orange, and the,
We've got some hot sauce.
like just like a Tabasco or a,
Yeah, like a Tabasco or a Frank's Red Hot.
okay,
Some honey.
honey, just to sweeten it up a little bit.
Yep. And we're gonna put a little bit of lime in there.
Okay. Just for some, little bit of acidity.
A little bit of acidity.
So no real mixing prior to it, just put everything in the bowl, it's quick and easy, and then stir it all together, and then we'll, a little bit of flavoring.
That's right.
So very fresh, very, very summery, be nice and, with the barbecue.
Exactly, and we got lots of nice colors in there. Once we get the corn in, that's gonna add some really nice sweetness.
Okay. So we're gonna take the corn off the cobs for this.
We
And
are,
mix it
yeah.
in after it's grilled up.
Yeah, once it's cooked, you should be able to just slice it right off the cob if your knife is nice and sharp.
Okay.
So once your corn's done,
Okay, so we have some done ahead
we
of
have
time.
some done ahead of time.
Yeah.
You should see some nice char marks on there, and that's gonna give us some really nice flavor, and that's fully cooked, so you can feel it's nice and soft.
Okay.
So we're just gonna take our sharp knife and just slice the kernels off like that.
Okay.
You don't wanna go too far down because you don't want that tough middle part of the cob in there.
Right, we just want the charred kernels.
Yeah. There we go.
You can really smell the corn.
I'm just gonna cut
Throw it
up
away.
any big pieces of that. And put it
And
right
throw
in
that
our
into
bowl.
the salad. It's a very simple mixing method, right? Just
Exactly,
get all your ingredients together, get it prepped up, and then throw it in the bowl.
exactly.
Nice and simple.
There we go, and we can just give that a mix.
Nice fresh looking salad.
Yep, and you can serve that right away, or you can keep it in the fridge for a few days.
Okay. 3 to
There we
4.
go. Yeah.
Okay. So our corn's going there. We got the salad made.
We got our salad all made.
Okay.
So now I think we could get our steaks on the grill.
Okay. We got them marinating. I'll just slide this over here for a minute. So we got to get the corn out of the way. So about 7 to 10 minutes for the corn on the grill is fine.
That's right.
And we got a cast iron pan, so heat is better when you're doing meats, right? Because you want
Nice.
that quick sear.
Nice and hot, yep. So we let our steaks come to temperature for about, half an hour before we put it on the grill. Just to get it nice and relaxed. We've got our grill nice and hot. We're gonna put that on there. Now, cooking time sort of varies depending on how
you want it done?
well done you like your steaks. But
Okay.
we're aiming for medium rare, so it'll probably take about 7 to 10 minutes on each side because we
Okay.
got some nice thick steaks there.
Okay.
So we're just gonna put that right in the
On
grill.
on a really hot grill. So if you're doing this at home in the barbecue, you want to get your grill hot first, right?
Yep, that's right.
And just let them sear. And then is there a rule about turning or flipping or something that we should?
If you
Warn
want the
people
nice,
about?
if you want the nice crosshatch pattern on your steak, then
Yeah.
you can put them in one way and then turn it halfway through and then flip it over.
Okay.
But I like to try and turn my steaks only once. So just
Okay.
flip it once.
Right.
And that way you get a nice crust on one side before you turn it over to get a nice crust on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna let those cook for a few minutes, and then we're gonna come back and finish them off. So don't go away. Welcome back to Kitchen Uncovered. I'm Chef Andrew Nicholson at the Culinary Institute of Canada. Today here with Aaron Henry. Today we're cooking steaks and corn salad. We've got their steaks grilled off. We've got our salad marinating and sitting on the side, kind of ready to go. What are we doing next, Aaron?
Next up, we're gonna make a sauce for our steak, and the sauce is gonna be a compound butter.
Compound butter.
Since we've got sort of Tex-Mex flavors going on with the steak and the salad, we're gonna make our compound butter with salted butter, cilantro, some chipotle peppers, some chopped shallot, and some chopped garlic.
Okay.
So we're just gonna mix that all together. The
Okay,
first-
so this is just a Tex-Mex version of the compound butter, but a compound butter is really just what?
It's butter mixed with, you can put pretty much anything in there so long as it doesn't need to be cooked.
Okay.
Yep, because we're just going to put it on top of the steak and it's going to slowly melt over, and that's going to be our sauce for our steak once it's cooked.
So you could use this instead of making a onion gravy or a sauce
Exactly.
of some sort. You can
Yep.
just do the compound butter to add the extra flavor.
Yep, so we're going to get some nice fresh flavors from the cilantro and a little bit of heat from the chipotle peppers, but
Okay.
it'll just be a nice gentle heat, nothing too
Okay.
spicy.
Excellent.
Sweet.
So the butter is room temperature, nice and soft and pliable. You
Yep.
don't necessarily need a mixer for it unless you're doing a great volume of it. This is just something you
Exactly.
can do quick at the last minute a little bit.
Yep, as long as your butter's soft.
Okay.
And we're
What would you
just
do with the extra butter? You could keep it in the fridge or freeze it?
Definitely, yep. You could just roll it up in a little bit of saran wrap and keep it in the fridge for quite a while.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just take a little chunk off whenever you need it. We've got just a little bit of minced garlic.
It's garlic, shallots, the butter.
We're gonna,
Your steaks are just kind of resting. So what are we looking for in the steaks when they're done cooking? What are we looking for?
well, the steaks have got a really nice crust on the outside from the grill on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the fat is rendered off from the fat cap, so it's not a big, thick chunk of fat anymore. It's
yeah.
nice and rendered out and crispy. And when we cut it open, we should see that it's a little bit pink around the outside with a nice crust on the very outside of the steak. And then in the very middle, it should still be a nice reddish pink color.
And then blended with the melted butter over the top will be
Delicious.
delicious. I'm just going to turn that a little bit. So the trick to the grilling the steaks to get the nice crust on the outside is really hot pan or griddle. So if you're doing this in the barbecue at home, you should really just kind of heat it up, give it lots of time to heat up and get
Exactly.
so that it sears when it hits and
And
not
then-
just kind of hangs out.
And a nice even heat on the grill too.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
So the chipotle pepper, we got the shallots and garlic, and just stir the salad up a little bit.
I'm just gonna get a cloth from you.
Sure.
All right, so we have all of our ingredients in there, and we're just gonna stir it up.
So just mixing it up so that it's evenly distributed, and it doesn't take any time for the flavors to melt a little bit, but
No.
if you had extra butter done up, you could always,
Yep, and then when our steaks are ready to go, we're just gonna put a spoonful on top of each one and just let it,
Just let it melt.
slowly melt on top.
looking forward to it.
Exactly. So we've got everything ready to go here.
Okay?
I think we're ready to start putting it all together.
Okay. Plate.
It's a moment of truth.
Yeah. This is the test, right?
Time to cut into our steaks. So we got some really nice color on there. You can see it's a little cooked nicely around the outside.
Outside.
Still nice and pink in the middle.
Yeah, and that's what you want. You want to let your steaks rest a little bit too, right? So that they kind of relax after their
Yep,
hard
I would-
work on the grill.
I would say at least 10 minutes after your steak is cooking, you can just set it somewhere warm and let it rest, and that'll let the juices distribute evenly, nicely throughout the meat so that it's all the same color throughout,
Right.
and it will keep it nice and juicy as well.
Okay. That's done perfectly. So that was about how long on the roll? That was about 10 minutes aside?
10 minutes on each side. Yep, exactly.
And you don't want to keep flipping it back and forth. You want to kind of just let it cook on the one side and then flip it once or twice. And
Exactly.
not a whole bunch of times.
So this dish is going to be really easy to plate. We're just going to put a spoonful of our corn salad.
Very nice, fresh, summery.
And lots of beautiful colors in there.
Could be a nice fall dish too with the corn.
And then we're just going to lay our steak on top here.
Just kind of fan it out to give it a little bit of presentation.
Exactly.
And the flavors from the marinade in that as well are going to be unbelievable too.
And then on top of that, we're just going to put a spoonful of our butter.
Spoonful of the butter.
And then let that melt nicely all over our steak.
What are we going to do with the second steak?
With our second steak, we cooked it a little bit longer.
Okay.
So we're just going to slice into that one now. Now, with our first steak, we cooked it for 7 to 10 minutes on each side, but this one was more like 10 to 12 minutes.
Okay, so we cooked a little bit longer just because we want to talk about doneness a little bit.
Exactly. So this one's more like medium well. So you can see it's quite well cooked around the outside and just a little bit of pink in the middle. So I would call that medium well.
Okay, so what temperature are you going by, or how do we tell that before we cut into it? Because when we're barbecuing, we don't want necessarily to cut the meat because we'll lose all the juices.
Exactly, and
Right?
a great way to tell how well done your meat is you can use your hand as a gauge and just compare by touching your steak and then touching the hand. And it's just the fleshy part of your thumb here, so if you touch that, this feels like rare.
Rare, just
And then-
relaxed hand.
Relaxed hand. And then if you put your thumb and first finger together, medium rare,
Okay,
medium,
next finger, and just count your
medium
fingers.
well done.
Well done by the time you get to the pinky.
And you can tell that's quite firm. in
Okay,
there.
and if you're using a meat thermometer, the temperatures are around about 140 for rare, 150 for medium, and about 165 for well done.
Yep.
So if you're using a meat thermometer, that's your other way of telling.
And I would say don't stick your thermometer in there too many times.
Right,
You're gonna
because you don't
lose
want
some
to lose
juice.
all the juices, because we had the marbling, right? And that's the flavor builder of the steak.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
So this one's all finished.
We'll grab another plate,
And we'll
and
just
we'll show
slice.
the medium well steak. Done perfectly. Look at the juice in that. And it's more well done. So you want to make sure that you don't. And the thing about a lot of people like their steaks a lot of different ways too, right? And the difference between a medium rare steak and other than the color and the juices is that a well done steak can be a little bit dry.
And I would say if you like your steak well done, some cuts are better for that than others. Something like tenderloin, which is a really lean cut, would not be very good well done because it would dry right out. But something like a ribeye, which has quite a bit of marbling and a nice fat cap, and it still might have the bone left in it, would be great
Right. Yeah.
for well done if you like your steak that way.
Okay.
There we go.
That looks good too.
Looks
And then we
good.
still have our compound butter for the
We do.
same sauce.
And we'll just put a spoonful of that on top and let that melt over.
Beauty. And the whole trick of this whole exercise is to just let the steaks rest after grilling so the juices flow to the outside edges, because
Yep.
they get tired and excited when they're cooking and all the juices go to the center, right?
I think that's one of the most important things to remember when you're cooking steak is to just be patient. Once you put it on the grill,
Right.
resist the temptation to turn it over and look at it. Let it grill on one side and then flip it over.
Yeah.
And then be sure to let it rest for at least 10 minutes after you cook it before you slice into it.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thank
Pleasure
you.
having you. That's it for today. Thanks for joining us at Kitchen Uncovered. For more information on today's recipes, check out our website, kitchenuncovered.com. I'm Chef Andrew Nicholson at the Culinary Institute of Canada.